So at the first meeting, that's what you do. You have the deal. I'm going actually to a second board meeting for a company next month, and we've the closing date for the transaction is December the 8th or 9th or something like that, and the board meeting is on the 26th. I think the 26th, and so we'll cover that. And I told him I wanted the accountants, I wanted the lawyers, I wanted the financial institutions, I wanted everybody there, so I could hear with my own ears the layout, because you hear what you want to hear. In the you in the deal is a young kid in his, I guess, mid-30s, and I know he wouldn't mislead me, but he may have heard something, and I'm copied on the emails, but I don't know what is not written in the email. I don't know what was written in the conversation before they sent the email or after they sent the email. So I'll go and ascertain for myself, and if I see there's a problem, I'll correct it right there. Not embarrassing the kid, but correct it right there, and then we'll move forward. But it appears the deal will close. But God knows, I've been through enough things where it appeared it was going to close and it didn't close. Of course, the young person in it is, as far as he's concerned, other than him getting his money, he thinks it's a fait accompli. And I want you to think positively, but we're a long way from getting any money. Extracting money out in bonuses. We're a long way from that. But, okay, what else?
Do you have to have a board meeting before you close?
Well, actually, you can have a board meeting at closing, but I like to have one before in conjunction. To make sure the iron out, because no deal closes smoothly. I won't say no, but very few deals close smoothly. There's normally some give and take. So at the board meeting prior to the close, you will have set up, if this changes, or if they want this, or they try this, then this is what we've decided we're going to do.
This is exactly what you're discussing about. Getting the approval of the board, discussing a few little details.
Yeah.
And the next board meeting would be just at the close?
Or just prior to the close.
Okay.
Yeah, but the bottom line is, at this meeting, we gave Brock's authority, not permission. We gave him authority to act in the best interest of the company moving forward to get the acquisition done. Or I think I said acquisitions because we may do another one. So he has the latitude to do that. He has the board authority, board resolution to do that. In the real world, that's what you do.
Only the chairman can overrule it?
No. The chairman can ask for an EGM, extraordinary general meeting, instead of a annual general meeting, and at that extraordinary general meeting, and there's notice waivers where you only had to give 48 hours notice, blah blah blah, blah. Where we can ask to withdraw that permission, if you will, to go forward on the acquisition, or you can say that part of the agenda is we've reconsidered the acquisition and we don't think it makes sense. Or we change some major aspect of it. But if we don't change any major aspect of it, it's going to go through, that board resolution will go through to fruition, and the deal will get signed up, funded, and then we'll have a board approving the acquisition. It'll be in the past tense, not in the future tense, and then we have part of the next board meeting is how we're going to take over operations. Who's moving where, who's doing what, a list of responsibilities. Because an acquisition like this doesn't happen especially because it's got so many fucking moving parts. I mean, people are going to have to be responsible for things, held accountable. We have to make sure that the seller, he seems very, very amicable to all this, stays amicable. And because we're going to need his help and the people's help to make it happen, to change, the bank account signatures, which a lot of guys forget to do, and 35 years ago, I forgot once that, let's say I buy Hint, okay, right now you got you and maybe two people or whoever can sign shit. Well, you got to have board resolutions that have new people taking you off or having you on a transition for 30 days to sign shit. But after the 30 days, your name's taken off and the new name's put on. And when I was first doing this, I was just running around like a crazy man. And I didn't even think about the transition at the financial institution. So checks started fucking bouncing and, why are we getting checks? Well, this idiot's, not another one of my idiots, signature. We don't know this fucking guy. Who's he? And and even though it may not have the seller's name on the check, they've got a signature thing there. And I never heard of this guy. Who is this guy? But a lot of new young people forget when they buy somebody, the whole banking thing has to change. All the signatures, all the guarantors, if there are guarantors, have to cancel all the other people's credit cards. We had a guy run off. I don't think he did it on purpose. I'll never know for sure. And he went on a vacation and he was used to paying with a corporate credit card. So he paid for the vacation with a corporate credit. Actually, it was paid before the deal closed. And then the deal closed. 3 months later, the controller comes in and says, here's $11,000 on a holiday at such and such. Who went there? Everybody looks around the table. None of us. So then we drill down and find out there was the senior VP, and he would always normally come back and pay off his personal expenses. But now he got the fog of war. He didn't, the deal's done already. So he doesn't have much incentive to come in and give us a check for $11,000. So when we found him, he did. It was no problem. But there's a lot of details that have to be done. The people in the field, in the oil and gas operation, the superintendents, etc. Everybody's got to be told. And so we used to get in the plane, in a helicopter, depending when we were going offshore, and we get in the pickup trucks, and we go off to the drilling sites. I wasn't wearing my three-piece suit then. I'd be wearing my cowboy boots, my jeans, and my hat. And we'd be going with one of the guys that was still staying with us and say, this is the new senior management. They bought us out effective a week ago or 5 days ago. And I'm a believer in you repaint the shit with your logo as soon as humanly possible. Don't be waiting. And so we were forever putting fucking black GWs on everything. A couple of times we put it on assets we didn't even own. But
after you do that tour and get an idea of where everyone's at, then you have your board meeting to say, okay, or is your board?
No, we've already seen all the assets. This is back after we closed. Now we're going back at next time. These are the new owners.
Yeah. And when you have your board meeting to determine operationally who's going to be where, is it at the same time?
No, it's at the board meeting prior to close. Okay, we're going to close the 1st. It's now the 25th. Okay, the financial people, we need to get the records all up in our name. We need to change all the bank accounts signatures. The operational people got to get out to talk to the operational people with the most senior existing executive that we're going to keep. The people, the very senior people, probably the CEO and CFO, will go to the banks. If there's, to tell them that we're the new sheriff in town, and then they'll try to sell you all kind of shit and oh God, we can upsell them and cross sell them, and I can't imagine all the services they must have now in corporate banking, but there's a bunch of them. We want credit cards,
But you can do that all before the official close.
No. After the official close. They don't want to talk to you. Okay, you can plan on who's going to do what. Then after the close, on the first, then you're running your butt off to get to all these places.
Who's signing the closing documents?
The closing documents normally are the CEO and CFO and possibly the chairman.
Dan, I just need to say, in Roxroy's situation, you would now allocate the lawyers to be drawing up initial legal entity documents, looking at liability insurance.
Okay. Let me cover that. Okay. Some of you have been asked, where are my D&O insurance, directors and officers insurance? Okay. And they're worried about, or they ask about, they don't tell you they're worried. They ask about D&O insurance because they're, in America, they're worried about getting sued. Remember those charts? And they're sued much less in Europe, but, and so then you'll see what the existing D&O insurance is for what the executives have, and either you'll replicate that or you'll add on to it. Normally, D&O insurance is pretty cheap, not in the United States. And the United States is expensive because the level of litigation is much higher. As you remember, 40% of all outside directors in 2013 or 14 got sued. 40%. So that's a lot.
The way to avoid that would be to have your board as your board of advisors.
Well, I mean, no, well, yeah. But I mean, a board of advisors is still going to want, they don't have any direct liability because they're not operationally involved in the company, but people still get sued, board of advisors. They still sue board of advisors. But I mean, it's much harder to prove that an advisor fucked things up as opposed to a director, and it's opposed to a operational executive director. It's tough to prove or disprove that a COO, CEO, CFO didn't fuck things up. Because those are normally the three operational people. The other people are non-executive directors, NEDs, and normally the chairman is an NED. In my case, I'm almost always the non-executive chairman, so I'm not a executive on the line, making decisions. Although I'm steering the ship, but I'm not on the line making decisions where I'm culpable or liable. Okay, so before you will have checked with the insurance companies, what needs to be changed, what needs to be kept. Some of the companies will have superfluous health plans and all that stuff. You'll have somebody to look at that. And so as soon as you close, and God forbid if you got a human resource department, then they know how to do all that stuff. But that closes on the 1st. Everybody's moving into the offices the afternoon of the 1st, after the ink is not even quite dry on the documents. And the money's transferred for the payment or however the consideration is, whatever methodology you use. I've seen deals close with a Black American Express card because which normally have no limit, and the $250,000 fell in the hole someplace, and so a Black American Express card can cover that. But for those of you, like Sally and I have one, but when you're going to spend $250,000 or $500,000, you call fucking American Express and you tell them, we have a sizable transaction coming in our Black American Express card. Because if you're used to spending 25 or 30 grand a month, then all of a sudden you get $500,000 on the card. It'll go directly to the fraud department and to check. And of course, your seller sees that, what the fuck, they fucked me. They took control and they clipped me for $500,000. So you call American Express, their 800 hotline for Black. And so you get some guy, may even have a French accent. I mean, they're, and you tell them that you've got a sizable transaction. How sizable is it? It's $500,000. There's no problem. And so I've a couple times I've bridged myself with a Black American Express card because for whatever reason